Like what we're doing here at Cube for Two? Click the like and subscribe button to let us know. Also, Cube for Two is now a TCG Player affiliate. Click the link in the show notes for all your shopping needs to help support the channel. Alright guys, let's get started. What's good, Cubers? It's your boy Matt. I'm back and it's time for another card of the week, and this time I have a card that I have been playtesting for 6 or so months now, and I'm loving it, and I'm here to share it with you, and it's going to be friendly on your wallet too. Let's get started. This week's card of the week is Bond of Flourishing. For 1 and a green, you get a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You gain 3 life. Now your gut reaction to Bond of Flourishing might be that it is a subpar version of another card we're playing a lot in Cube, and that's Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time lets you play it for free, it is at instant speed, and it lets you filter the top 5 cards of your library as opposed to the top 3 cards of your library on Bond of Flourishing. So I'm not going to lie, Once Upon a Time is superior to Bond of Flourishing in every single way. But by that same token, we have loved Once Upon a Time in Cube, and if you're not playing it, you should be. It's a staple. And Once Upon a Time has proven that it was so good that I thought I would give Bond of Flourishing a go. And there is a small difference between these 2 cards that actually makes Bond of Flourishing really strong. Once Upon a Time says that you can have a creature or a land. Bond of Flourishing says you can have a permanent card. Allowing you to have a permanent is what makes Bond of Flourishing so good, and what keeps it from whiffing even though you're only digging 3 deep in your library. After all, Bond of Flourishing will let you find a creature or a land, just like Once Upon a Time, so you can find your mana dork, or you can dig and try and find the top end of your ramp curve, or your mid-range target. It'll let you find a land if your hand isn't quite perfect for that. But Bond of Flourishing will also let you find enchantments, planeswalkers, artifacts. In fact, just the other night, my wife cast Bond of Flourishing looking for a mana dork in her ramp deck, and she found Utopia Sprawl. If she had cast Once Upon a Time, she'd have had to pass on the Utopia Sprawl, but because she cast Bond of Flourishing, she was allowed to keep it. Also, a lot of green mid-range decks are focused around planeswalkers, and if your mid-range decks are, Bond of Flourishing will let you keep your planeswalkers, whereas Once Upon a Time will force you to pass them. And of course, Bond of Flourishing will also find artifacts like Tanglewire, or mana artifacts like Signets and Talismans, Mana Vaults. So Bond of Flourishing is actually very good because of the permanent clause. Being able to grab a permanent means that even though you're only digging 3 deep, you're still seldom likely to miss. Now, card filtering in green is important because it means less mulligans. Having Bond of Flourishing in your opening hand lets you keep a slightly subpar hand because you know you're going to get to dig 3 deep and try and grab that missing piece to your hand. And even if you don't get it, you can pick up a land, you can pick up a creature, you're still unlikely to whiff, and you're 3 cards deeper into your deck. There's also another subtle upside to Bond of Flourishing that seems innocuous at first, but I have noticed more and more that it matters, and that is the phrase, you gain 3 life. Gaining 3 life is what enables you to take turn 2 off to cast Bond of Flourishing. If you're playing against an aggro deck, the average rate of burn is 3 damage, so gaining 3 life essentially time walks the aggro player while you filter through your deck and look for an answer. It also counter affects creature attacks like Goblin Guide, who don't quite deal 3 damage, so you net a life. I've also noticed increasingly that Simic tends to have some incidental life gain. So, the Simic cards in your cube that grant incidental life, like Uro or Hydroid Krasis, only make Bond of Flourishing better, as this incidental life gain tends to add up, and suddenly you're gaining maybe 6 to 7 extra life a game, which can really help those Simic mid-range decks overcome the aggro deck. Give them a fighting chance against all those hasty tutus. So, Bond of Flourishing is a solid cube include that I have really enjoyed having in our cube, and I'm not pulling it out anytime soon. The fact that almost any green deck wants the card filtering so it can make sure it's drawing the right half of its deck, and the gaining 3 life is, while incidental, a strong upside whenever you're facing a deck that's faster than you. Bond of Flourishing has proven itself to be a solid B+ in our cube. It's almost a staple. I don't understand why more people aren't running it. Now, let's talk about price, because price is always super important. This is a really budget card. This card is super cheap. Matter of fact, Bond of Flourishing is only 24 cents. And oh wait, no, that's my bad. That's the foils. The foils of Bond of Flourishing are 24 cents. Regular price on Bond of Flourishing, 3 cents. Yup, your boy Matt is here with the awesome budget includes. 3 cents for a solid cantrip in green that lets you find permanents. A budget Once Upon a Time for those of you who can't afford that card. Bond of Flourishing is solid. You should try it out in your cube. Well, that's gonna do it for today, cubers. Be sure to use the TCG player in the notes below to go purchase your own wildly inexpensive copy of Bond of Flourishing. It's the best way to support the channel. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you've got recommendations for card of the week, stick them in the comments below and we'll try and get to them. You can always catch me on Twitter at cubefortwo. And as always, until next time, stay safe, shuffle up, and keep cubing, my friends.